Hi, my name is Sam Nussbaum, and I'm a career and academic advisor at the SOJC. This video is going to focus on how to have conversations with professionals, also known as informational interviews, and help you expand your network. So let's get started. One of the best ways to learn about a specific organization or industry is to hear it firsthand from someone in that role. Conversations with professionals and alumni in the field can help you learn some great insights and help you best use your time at the SOJC to prepare for your next steps after graduation. Although this can seem like an intimidating process, think about it like asking someone for directions. You're not asking them to just hand you a job or internship, like you wouldn't expect someone to just drive you to your destination, but rather you'll focus on asking them how they made the journey and what insights they could share from their own experience. You can also think about it this way. If a junior or senior in high school who is planning to apply to UO approached you and asked you about your experience and what you're majoring in, I'm sure you'd be happy to spend a few minutes chatting about your experience. Our alumni feel the same way about helping current students navigate their path after U of O. Here are some good tips to keep in mind when you start connecting with people for conversations. As you're looking for people to speak with, start by using the list of organizations you're interested in working for, and then look those organizations up on LinkedIn to see who works there. For more details on this, see our other Building Relationships videos, as well as our job and internship search videos. If you find some UO alum that work at the organization you're interested in, be sure to reach out. We have sample outreach messaging in our other videos for you to reference as well. If you can, focus on trying to find professionals who graduated in the past 1 to 5 years, as they will likely be able to give you some of the best advice on making your first professional steps outside of the UO, since they were in your shoes not too long ago. In your initial message, make sure it's easy for the other person to say yes. Asking for a 20-minute phone call or Zoom meeting, and be really flexible with your time to accommodate their schedule. Be sure that you don't schedule a meeting over someone's lunch hour or schedule something too late or too early in the day. We've also found that asking for 20 minutes is the right amount of time for both students and professionals, as you can get some really great insights, but it's not too much of a commitment for an alum during their workday. Once you've sent a message, give them about 2 weeks to respond before sending a follow-up. Sometimes the timing's just not right for them to be able to speak with you, so don't feel too bad about not getting a response or the person saying no to a conversation. Once you're able to schedule a meeting with a potential connection, you'll want to prepare for the conversation by coming up with some questions to guide you so that you can learn more about their career path, the culture of the organization they work for, or anything else you want to know. Take some time beforehand to reflect on what you want to learn from this person to help you prepare these questions. Some examples might be, what experiences did you take advantage of at the SOJC that have helped you in your current role? What classes do you wish you would have taken? What skills should I be building now to help me be successful in this field? Or other questions that focus on their particular organization, like asking them to describe their office culture or what their typical day looks like. These questions can help determine if you'd be a good fit for a similar role or how you can best prepare for these careers while you're still in school. Be sure to take time to research the company and the person that you're speaking with thoroughly before your conversation so that you don't ask any questions that can be easily answered by a Google search. And remember to keep the conversation focused on the other person by asking them questions so that way you're sure you're respectful of their time. Here's a small sample of questions to ask a professional, but be sure that you tailor any questions you ask to the person's specific experiences. Be sure to incorporate your research on this person into your questions. For example, if the person that you're speaking with made a transition from working in a creative role to working in project management, ask them what made them decide to switch or how they changed the way that they applied to different roles, like if they decided to highlight something more in their resume or if they lean more heavily into their portfolio. If they did an internship you're interested in applying for, ask them for any tips or insights, like if applying early has any benefits or what they decided to highlight in their resume or what made them stand out. It's important to keep the conversation focused on their experience, but you'll also want to make sure that it feels conversational rather than just an interview. Share updates about the SOJC and let them reminisce about their own experiences. Maybe ask them who their favorite professor was or what classes they enjoyed. Again, be sure to not ask any generic questions like, what does your typical day look like? Or what do you enjoy about your work? Keep it tailored and specific. Remember that you're asking for someone's time during these conversations, so don't ask questions that you can find with a simple search. While meeting with this person, it's important to remember to be respectful of their time, so have a plan for structuring the conversation. The first moments are really critical to setting the tone, so be sure to start by thanking them for meeting with you, especially during their workday, and give a small introduction to remind them of who you are and what your goals are. Be sure to practice this beforehand so that it feels natural to introduce yourself to someone by sharing your goals and interests. Once the introductions have been made, start by asking some of the questions that you've prepared. Since you'll have limited time and the conversation might go a bit off track, identify 3 to 5 questions you really want to ask the professional and bring about 10 to 15 additional backup questions so that you don't run out of things to discuss. Depending on time, you might not be able to get to all your questions, so it's really important that you prioritize the things that you really want to know about this person's experience. Be sure to wrap up the conversation by expressing gratitude, and be sure to send a thank you email within 24 to 48 hours after your conversation. It's important that you invest time in your network, and one way to do this is to stay in contact with the people that you've connected with, and especially those that you've had conversations with. There's many ways to do this, like engaging with their posts on LinkedIn or sharing relevant articles or opportunities with them. Here's an example of a way to stay in contact by sharing a relevant article. These relationships should be mutually beneficial, meaning that you should be giving as much as you're taking. So be sure to express gratitude and offer your insights where you can. One of the best ways to stay in contact is to reach out and say thank you if you've found yourself using the person's advice, or just reach out spontaneously to say thanks. People love to feel like they've made a difference for someone, and a simple thank you can really go a long way to help the relationship feel more genuine. We recommend following up about every 6 months or so, and this ensures that you stay fresh in their minds for any upcoming opportunities that they might be aware of. Think of your network like a bank account. You have to put some investment in before you can withdraw anything. So take time to talk to people and cultivate genuine relationships based on shared interests. You never know where these relationships might lead. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. As always, be sure to check out these other resources to help you navigate your career journey. And if you'd like to talk one-on-one about building relationships, make an appointment with an SOJC advisor through Navigate.